Good afternoon, this is Pat Walker at MissionWinners.com, and we are doing a video here for John. John asked a great question, and I'm going to read it to you. By the way, I always encourage all the members, please, if you have questions, ask them, and I'll make videos and answer your questions. Also, we'll tell you this, I'm very discreet and private. I will only mention your first name and not your last name, so don't worry about it. We're square here, all right? Everything's fine. So John asked a question. Hey, Pat, on a recent video, you mentioned position sizing. What's your pyramid position sizing strategy look like? And with regard to gap up video, what would an aggressive gap up partial position look like? For example, a $100,000 account for reference. This is a good question. So what's it got to do with position sizing, pyramiding? How do you get into it? Well, I'm kind of a sponge, and what I like to do is I steal ideas from great investors. I made it a point to meet great investors through the years, and for that I'm thankful. So, this is straight from Bill O'Neill's Level 3 workshop. Position sizing. You've got a $100,000 portfolio. Again, a $100,000 portfolio in the simulation. What should you do? You should have 4 or 5 stocks. I'm going to be conservative and say 100,000 divided by 5. You put 20,000 each stock. This is straight from CanSlim Level 3 Advanced Seminars and Level 4. The way you do it, and this is very important. First rule, you're buying a stock breaking out of a good, solid base, a good, solid company, in a good, clean, and simple base. Can't stress that enough. Take your account, divide it by 5. So again, 100,000 divided by 5, you've got 20,000 you're going to put into a stock. The stock breaks out of a really good pattern, and it does it on good volume, and the market's good. Everything's got to be working for us, okay? What do? You got a $20,000 to buy. Your first buy is 1/2 of $20,000. Your first buy is $10,000 in the stock right when it breaks out. If the stock goes up 2 to 2.5%, you buy $6,000 more, which is like 30%. 30% of 20,000. $6,000 more. If the stock goes up another 2 to 2.5%, you buy your last 20%. So I'm going to be real specific. That would be $4,000. You've got a $100,000 portfolio divided by 5. 1/5 of 100,000, $20,000. You take it. You find a stock. It breaks out. You've got 20,000 to put in that stock. You buy $10,000 right at the pivot. By the way, if it falls, you sell it. Okay? We don't keep adding to. We don't average down. So you bought $10,000. The stock goes up 2 to 2.5% in price. You buy another amount. $10,000 the first time, $6,000 on the add-on. If it goes up another 2 to 2.5%, you buy $4,000 worth. So you buy $10,000, $6,000, $4,000. What's the total? $20,000. Now, I hope that makes sense. That's the way we do it. Here's another question for you. Gap ups. What would an aggressive gap up partial position look like? So here's how we do this. On a gap up, you have to be more careful. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to do the same situation. You've got $20,000 to put into a stock. You all can adjust to your size, okay? But we'll just use 20,000. You put 20,000. When it breaks out on a gap up. You're only going to buy $10,000 worth. But here's the tactic. You don't buy immediately. We don't chase gap ups. Okay, unless it's a small gap up, okay? 20, 30 cent gap up. That's okay. I'm talking a stock that gaps up a couple of dollars. Here's what you do. You wait. You wait at least 20 minutes to a half an hour or longer. Let a pattern develop on a 5 or a 10-minute chart that makes sense. After that period of time, you should be able, looking at a 5 or a 10-minute chart after a half an hour or so, you should be able to see a clearly defined pattern that allows you to get into the stock. So let's be specific. The stock breaks out, the pivot price is $20. The stock opens at $21. It trades up to $21.20, trades down to $20.60. There's your range. Drops down to $20.60 at 8 minutes after the open, and then it starts to go back up. When you see a clearly defined spot on the 5-minute chart, which could be taking out the highs of the day, the highs of that day, it's been trading for 30, 35 minutes, you buy. So let's suppose you buy there. Your stop on those shares will be the low of that day. So let's suppose the breakout was $20. The stock opens up at $21, goes up to $20.20, falls down to $19 $20.90, somewhere in there, okay? And it starts to go back up. You buy. If it takes out the lows of that day, you sell it. So you started, you put 10,000 in, and on a gap up, you may even do less. Instead of putting, you got 20,000 to put in a stock, go less because it's getting aggressive here. You buy less. If it takes out the lows of that bar those days, or that day, you sell it. If it continues going up, you should, on a 5-minute and 10-minute chart, have a clean reference point to buy more. So let's suppose that you're going to buy, I'm going to be conservative, you're going to buy $10,000 on this stock. Maybe your first purchase would be, I will tell you this, $5,000 worth. If it goes up, your next purchase would be $3,000. And if it goes up another, say, 2%, you buy the remaining $2,000. I stress, if it goes up and then falls and takes out the lows of the day, you sell it all because this is an aggressive entry on a gap up. I hope that helps you. If you punch up a couple of charts with gap ups, you can look at it and take the chart down to a 10-minute chart. Look at the 30-minute chart first on a big gap up, then take it down to a 10-minute chart and then a 5-minute. And you will start, after you look like 3 or 4 of them, you will start to see the pattern and say, now I got it. Gaps up, pulls back a little bit. I see a spot to buy it. I'll buy a little there. If it takes out the lows of the day, I'll sell it. And that's how we limit our losses too. That's exactly how people do it. That's exactly how, I will tell you this, that's how big traders do it. Some big name people. I mean big name people. People have won the world championship investing. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. And hey, John, I hope that helps and I thank you, sir.